had to water my couch. No, I would be too. We should get it, Ava. Me and Ava just buy a house and put that one couch in there. That's all we put in there. Can you imagine? Oh. Well, if anyone's unaware of what Kingdom Hearts is, this is it. Hey! Oh, I'm doing easy mode. One second. I honestly, okay, so we're obviously playing Kingdom Hearts here. Hey, everybody. And I've played all of them, but I have no idea about the story because the story is so confusing. So let's see if we can figure out the story here together, everybody. I'm gonna get copywritten for music so fast. So fast. Oh, we're falling.
I've been having these weird thoughts lately.
Me too, girl.
Like, is any of this for real? Or not?
So true, bestie. I'm falling. I'm not muting it, baby. I'm jamming. Oh, I love this song! I didn't realize this was it. This song is fierce. I'm spilling my wine. Everybody at the end of the stream remind me to download the VOD immediately after I end. Like, be like, Nem, when you end, make sure you download the VOD right now. Because they mute it an hour after it gets posted. This is how I feel high out of my mind. Oh my god, this, where he's in the cathedral with the cool glasses. Yes, these. Oh my god. I want to smoke with them. Savannah, thank you for continuing your sub. Oh, I look over my shoulder. So much to do. So little time. Take your time. Don't be afraid. Sorry, not laughing. The door is still shut. Now step forward. Can you do it? Ruining Snow White's good dress. Power sleeps within you. If you give it a form, it will give you strength. Choose well. The power of the warrior. Invincible courage. I was reading that. Yeah. Your path is set. Now what will you give up in exchange? The power of mystic inner strength. A staff of wonder and ruin. You give up this power? I don't want to be weak. Like, I want to be kind of like a tank. We'll get rid of the sword. I mean the shield. The power of a guardian, kindness to aid friends, a shield to repel all. I don't. When you walk away. Yeah! I'm good. I'm good, baby. Whoa, 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 whoa! I will eventually, but honestly, right now, I don't think it's... Like, we're playing on beginner mode, so I don't think it'll be too bad, I hope, but... I know there's like little things. Who was that? Was that Cinderella? Cinderella, A. Oh, attacking Cinderella, how dare. The Heartless! Wait, I'm not done. Okay, just making sure. Okay. The shoe. A better shoe than Ginger wore on All Stars. Sorry, I can't get over that shoe in that first challenge. I'm done! Not a wedge. I know Serena is rolling in their grave somewhere. Serena's dead asleep. Not dead, just dead asleep. Why does Cinderella have brown hair there? It comes out tomorrow, I think. Technically, tomorrow night. One Serena. Two Serena. When you walk away. Haha, no one opens the door. Haha, so funny. Oh, you think so? We can be the royals of Kingdom of Farts. Oh. Oh, hey. That took them a while to approve that. You've had that for a while. Oh, that wig. That wig. So sorry. First, tell me about yourself. That is literally, wait a minute. Now wait a minute. Now wait a damn minute. That is the guy from Final Fantasy X. Now wait, what's your name? That is literally the guy from Final Fantasy X. Did they do that on purpose? That is the main pro tag from 10! That's Wakka, and that's, fuckface twink bitch. I don't know. What's his name? Why are there Titus? Why are there Final Fantasy characters in this game? Where is House? What is going on? Why does this look like a butthole? Okay, anyway. What is important to you? Well, I didn't mean to say that one to Wakka, but what's most important to you? Money. Yep, sure is. What are you afraid of? Being different. So true. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah, they do mix Final Fantasy, I forgot. Because it is Square Enix, I remember. You want to see the rare sights, you want to collect things, neat things, you're afraid of being different. Your adventure begins in the dead of night. The Comic Sans, please! The day you will open the door, both far off and very near. Hi, Monster Cat. Community shout out for Monster Cat. How are you doing? Thanks for dropping in. Oh, that's blonde lady. Me if I was a Disney princess. That's me. So true. What movie was she in? Wait, what? She's Sleeping Beauty? Wait, this is Sleeping Beauty? Wait a minute, that's Sleeping Beauty? Wait, I thought Snow White was Sleeping Beauty. Wait. I need more drinks. Take this, you big poopy heads! Hiya! I'm missing. Let's step on her face. So true. I know she'd be plucked. I know Disney princesses, okay? But they both sleep, therefore they are both Sleeping Beauty. Yep. So you're saying Snow White is ugly? Because she's not a Sleeping Beauty. Uh-huh. Okay. I see. So you're the one that's... Okay. Just calling Snow White ugly. Yep. You did. You sure did. Yup. Yup. It's like in a mirror. Oh, the nail glove. Oh, the shoe. Oh, that's Sleeping Beauty too. This is my shadow. Does that mean I'm gonna look like that? Yes, everybody is Sleeping Beauty because you sleep. You're Sleeping Beauty and I'm Sleeping Beauty. We're all Sleeping Beauty. Aurora's kind of conceited. She thinks she's the only Sleeping Beauty. Okay, sure. Sure. That's kind of nasty of her to think that. So true. She was cursed to sleep. God, I wish someone would curse me to go to sleep. Maybe at a good time of the day. Can you give me a curse to go to sleep at like 3 a.m. and not 8 a.m.? Oh, Serena's out on the town? Oh. You're the one that will open the door. Don't say it. Hi, Rue. Mia, I said don't say it. Death to all of them. The way she scares herself. Oh! Excuse me. Kyrie, go over there.
Give me a break, Kyrie.
Get up, get up. Shoo!
Bum.
Kyrie, I'm drinking some wine. Can you leave me?
No, this huge black thing swallowed me up. I couldn't breathe, I couldn't... Ow.
Are you still dreaming?
It wasn't a dream. Or was it? I don't know. What was that place?
It's crazy how they mature. Because in Kingdom Hearts 3, Kyrie and
Sure.
all these characters don't sound like this anymore.
Say, Kyrie, what was your hometown like? You know, where you grew up?
I've told you before. I don't remember.
Nothing at all?
Nothing.
You ever want to go back?
Nothing at all. Nothing at all.
I'm happy here.
Really?
Please, Gray.
You know. I wouldn't mind going to see it.
It ran Hot Topic
I'd like
back
to
in
see
the
it too.
day. It
Along
sure
with any other
did.
worlds out
It
there.
still does, kinda.
I want to see them all.
So what are we waiting for?
Hey! Aren't you guys forgetting about me?
I had the biggest crush on him
So-
when I was a kid. When I
guess
tell
I'm the
you,
only one working on
when
the
I was a
rap.
kid, I would play this game and stay on the island just to be with him.
And you're just as lazy as he is.
So you know this. Okay, we'll finish it together. I'll race you.
Huh?
What? Are you kidding?
Ready? Go!
Oh! The wigs. Kyrie, slow as hell. Said, I'll be back here, y'all. You have fun. Them Kyrie cosplay. Yeah, that would mean I'd have to wear a brown bob again. Oh, I forgot this is wireless, so I can. Destiny Island. Who's Destiny? I thought you were gonna say Kyrie's definitely that one girl that would pee in the pool. Oh my. Oh, I got the log.
Hey, what's happening, man?
That doesn't sound like Waka. Who is this supposed to be from Final Fantasy? I don't remember her. Is it supposed to be, what's her name? The summoner girl?
Ah, the breeze feels great.
Her wig. Hi, Mexican Flyer. Oh, she's from 8? Okay. That's why I don't know. I recognize the other two from 10. Because my friend's playing 10 right now. I got the cloth. Some bumpin' music. Oh, I throw some ass. Titus.
Hey, Sora! You feel lucky today?
They're literally identical. I need another log. Please. I still haven't started my new job. They're just like, yeah, we'll have you start soon. And I'm like, are we okay? Like what? Oh, it's probably, okay. My bad. Probably up here. Oh, still please. Hey. I only have a stick. No, I haven't.
So, Kyrie's home is out there somewhere, right?
Could be. We'll never know by staying here.
We'll never know. I guess
But
we'll
how
never
far
know.
could a raft take us?
Who knows?
Hi, Serena.
If we have to, we'll think of something else.
So, suppose you get to another world. What would you do there?
Well, I haven't really thought about it. It's just, I've always wondered why we're here, on this island. If there are any other worlds out there, why did we end up on this one? And suppose there are other worlds. Then ours is just a little piece of something much greater.
Yeah, allegedly.
So, we could have just as easily ended up somewhere else, right?
I don't know.
Exactly. That's why we need to go out there and find out. Just sitting here won't change a thing. It's the same old stuff. So let's go.
You've been thinking a lot lately, haven't you?
You've been thinking
Thanks
a
to
lot.
you. If you hadn't come here, I probably would have never thought of any of this. Kairi, thanks.
Literally, the story of this game is crazy confusing. Like, there's what? Like
Sora.
7, 9, 10 different games?
You wanted one, didn't you?
Is it a banana?
Palpu fruit.
If two people share one, their destinies become intertwined. They'll remain a part of each other's lives, no matter what. Come on, I know you want to try it.
What are you talking?
No, there's plenty more, kitten. There's like so many side games. Just to like make the story more confusing. There's a huge analysis video. King! So true. That's my winner. Please? The little door. Marshall, sweetie, that's the whole concept of Kingdom Hearts. Hi, Pluto. I loved Pluto as a kid. He was my favorite. I was Pluto for Halloween one year. Hi, Jenny. Please, Bob.
Hey there, Donald. Good morning.
Got a problem, Goofy. But don't tell anyone.
Ooh, Queen Minnie?
Not even the Queen.
Daisy?
No! It's top secret.
Oh, he's plucked.
Oh, good morning, ladies.
Are they there? Are they?
What?
Yes, you better work in these gowns, bitch! You better work! Minnie! Daisy, stun. Go ahead, ma'am. What did it just show me?
Hey, Sora. Have you heard about the legendary power of the Palpu fruit?
No.
They say if you share
This
it
wig.
with someone you really care for, it binds you together forever and ever, through eternity. It's so romantic. I gotta try it sometime.
Yeah, I should get that wig. I think I should get that wig. Hi, Waka. Oh my god.
I think you've gotten stronger, but odds are you're still no match for Riku. We took him on 3-1 last time, and he whipped us all. Well, I guess Kyrie can always count on him.
Celebrate the... Can I... Oh. I want the egg. Fuck. I got the egg. Egg acquired.
Me and Titus, we are gonna do a little exploring today. You know, to the secret place at the base of that tree. There's gotta be something there, yeah?
Not Titus. It really is Titus, huh? It's not Titus. Fuck that. His name is Titus. It's not Titus. Fuck you. I dance to the music. Oh. I can't wait to see Chip and Dale. I remember I used to love Chip and Dale too. They were my faves. I need a tissue or something. Oh, perfect. To wipe. I walk into the cave. Oh! Jiggle! 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 Jiggle those titties, jiggle those titties. Give the queen a fucking dollar. What a classic. Oh, Mia's plaques. Did you think Ginger should have won? Is that it, Mia? In that shoe? Where's Riku? Oh, can I get this? Oh, I got some shrooms. Oh. Oh, I know Steel loves a shroom. Like Scarlett-y. So true. Nemesis LaCroix, my beloved. Oh! Don't give me this ability. Delta! We're gonna be boating Delta. We're flying Delta.
If I win, I'm captain.
Oh, I have to win so we get to call it Delta.
Palpu with Kyrie.
Huh?
Oh.
Deal? The winner gets to share a Palpu with Kyrie.
Wait a minute.
Okay, on my count.
Does she know? Oh! Ow! That's fucked up. I'm taking the shortcut, buddy. Whee! Oh! I didn't make it. I want to call the boat Delta. Sora, you suck! Please, Jenny. Oh, thank you for your sub, Bio! Thank you so much. Now the score is 0 to 1. Can I reset? I want it to be called Delta! Move. Thank you so much. Enjoy your subscription, enjoy the emotes, enjoy everything you get from being a sub. Go. Sora, please. Sora! You are such a failure! I can't. Oh, I could have restarted it. Aw, man, we didn't even save, so I'd have to redo the entire story. Right. Fuck! Sora, when I tell you, I am so mad at every movement you make. Riku? Oh, he's walking. Queen's walking. No, I win, I win, I win, I win, I win! I won! Okay. Well, alright. I'm done here. I'm done. No, I don't want, no. I'm done. I was blocked. I'm done. And I am done. I'm done. I think. Oh, so now it wants to work. Okay. So I do it perfectly when I'm not being, okay, okay. Can we leave on the boat now? What is the objective? Let's leave. And let's leave him, Kairi. Let's leave him. He's gonna be an issue anyway in the future. Oh my god, she wants stuff. Two mushrooms, 2 coconuts, 3 fish, and drinking water. Wait. Okay. I'm not even gonna question why she... Okay. It dropped nothing. I have the 2 mushrooms. I need to get fish. Hello, fishies! Please come here! Do I need a fishing rod? This remake is really good, though. This looks really good. It runs really smooth, too. It's so hot. Hi, starring role. Oh wait, this fan is gonna match one of the levels we do very soon. It's appropriate. Thank you. Where do I get the fish? Oh, I could have just walked through the door? Oh. Well. Yeah, tell me. Tell me, chameleon. Clown shoes. Was that ever discussed? Like, why does Sora have these giant clown shoes? Oh man. Hi, Maddie. Oh yes, we got it. Okay. Well, Sora hasn't met Goofy yet. They're in 2 different places. Steal? No, I wasn't actually. I was not. Oh, there they are. I see them. I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts. I don't know, I'm excited though. Oh, there's a coconut. Why can't I pick it up? Oh! Golden coconuts? The fuck? I don't know, go to the store then, bitch. Yeah, go get them yourself, girl. If I knock down one of these trees and there's a golden coconut and she told me to get them for her and this tree has it, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Come on.
Kairi! Girl, it's right here.
Come on.
I got everything. What is that? You have a nice necklace? A charm that'll help us find each other if we ever get separated. So the three of us will be together forever. I have news for you, Gorge. I've seen the future. One mushroom? I got one already! Can I... Where are the mushrooms? Does that make Jewel Mickey? I sure did. You're Kairi. This isn't up for debate. What makes you think that I'm not Kairi? What makes you think that you have supremacy? Kairi isn't lazy. She becomes a person that is a baddie in the other games. Also, that's not true. You have a job. I am very lazy. Please. But I haven't started it. Well, yeah. I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts. Get me off this island! This is like that show Lost. What was that? Oh, that's right. When they were kids, they did that. I forgot. Oh, me and Jewel. You got a bang on her? Oh. I thought he was adding a bang piece.
What? Who's there?
I've come to see the door to this world.
Nope, I'd be out of there.
This world has
I would be
been
running, Sora. There's a man in a creepy
What are
cloak.
you talking about?
tied to the darkness, soon to be completely eclipsed.
Well, whoever you are, stop freaking me out like this. Huh? Well, where did you come from?
You do not yet know what lies beyond the door.
So you're from another world.
There is so very much to learn. You understand so little.
Oh yeah?
Well, I am a
You'll see.
child,
I'm
and
gonna
I'm
get out and learn
growing
what's out
up.
there.
Like, what do you mean you understand so
Meaningless
little?
effort.
Like, how old is Sora at the start of this game? Probably like
Who knows
13,
nothing
14,
can
15.
understand nothing.
No, I think that's Roxas. I think Roxas wakes up in Kingdom Hearts one day. Please. Just a random man. Hi. Let's go to the beach each. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, I'm just trying to get my mushroom and leave the island, sir. I'm just trying to get some shrooms. He was the dealer. Oh, she's a dealer too. She just gave me a high potion.
You know, Riku has changed.
What do you mean?
Well,
You okay?
Sora, let's take the raft and go. Just the two of us.
True!
Just kidding.
Oh,
What's
so
got
funny.
you? You're the one that's changed, Kairi.
Maybe. You know, I was a little afraid at first. But now I'm ready. No matter where I go or what I see, I know I can always come back here. Right?
Yeah, of course.
I don't know if that's true, Gorge.
Sora, don't ever change.
Huh?
I just can't wait. Once we set sail, it'll be great.
I'm so sorry. The dramatics of her, I can't. The dramatics of that cutscene for no reason. Never change, Sora. I'd be like, are you good? Are you alright? You need some water? But there's big trouble brewing. Not sure why, but the stars have been blinking out one by one, and that means a disaster can't be far behind. I hate to leave you all, but I've got to go check into it. Oh, you better get into it. There's something with the key. The key is to our survival, so I need you and Goofy to find it. Stick with him. Got it? We need that key or we're doomed. So go to Traverse Town and find Leon. I forgot all of the Final Fantasy characters. My bad. I think what's her name's in this? The one Jenny is in love with. Aerith? Someone call Jenny. Jenny!
Dear, what could this mean?
It means we'll just have to trust the king.
The crowns.
Gorge, I sure hope he's all right.
You're honest. Don't worry. We'll find the king and this key.
Thank you. Both of you.
Daisy, can you take care of them?
Of course. You be careful now, both of you.
Oh, and to chronicle your travels, he will accompany you.
Over here!
Oh, Jiminy Cricket.
Cricket's the name. Jiminy Cricket at your service.
I forgot.
We hope for your safe return. Please, help the king.
The purple garage door on Daisy.
You're coming too.
Gorge, Jiminy, your world disappeared too?
It was terrible. We were scattered. And as far as I can see, I'm the only one who made it to this castle.
Goofy,
Are you pink or is it the
right.
lighting?
I gotcha. You mean while we're in other worlds, we can't let on where we're from, huh?
I don't know.
We gotta protect the world border. Right, world border. Oh, I guess we'll need new duds when we get there, huh?
They're gonna get some new outfits. Are you a man or a girl? Do you have balls? Just smile and wave. For the record, my balls are huge. Fuck you, sir. That was just a bit. I'm kidding. That was just a bit. That was just a bit. What is going on? Oh, I forgot the, what is it called? Oh! Oh, they were done. Any more wine?
I just can't wait. Once we set sail, it'll be great.
Oh, he likes her. I'm gonna get a snack after we get through these cutscenes.
Oh no! The raft!
The raft that was made by 2 logs, a string, and a piece of cloth.
Sora! Dinner's ready! Come on down! Sora?
Wait, what? He has parents? Wait, why did we never see the parents? Hello?
What's that? Riku's boat! And Kairi's!
Oh, they were done.
Where's Kairi? I thought she was with you.
The door is open.
What?
The door is open, Sora. Now we can go to the outside world.
What are you talking about? We've got to find Kairi.
Kairi's coming with us. Once we step through, we might not be able to come back. We may never see our parents again. There's no turning back. But this may be our only chance. We can't let fear stop us. I'm not afraid of the darkness.
Riku?
Are you alright, sir? Okay, great. Actually, thank you so much. So I was like, I never liked my mom anyway. Goodbye. The Keyblade. Chrissy, thank you for resubscribing.
Come on!
I don't need to lock on.
Come on.
What a fancy door. I'm literally... I can't turn the camera? Jeez. Oh, that explains it. There's a cutscene. Hey, bestie!
Sora...
Oh, she's high. Oh. You what?
Whoa!
Where are we? Yeah, I think she smoked all those mushrooms we gave her. Nem after poppers, please? So true. Hi, Ghosty. Steal. Yeah? Giant fat cock on the Heartless. Yeah, Jenny Aerith is in this game, your wife. She's not here yet, but she's coming. Oh yes! Oh yes! Oh yes! For those with a monster kink, I feel like if you've never looked at a monster and thought it was sexy, then there's something wrong with you. But that's just me.
Look, a star's going out.
A star is born! I think Tifa... No, I don't think Tifa's in this. I think it's Tifa's friend is in this. Traverse Town!
Hey, you know, maybe we ought to go find Leon.
Leon?
Oh, Donald, you know, I bet you that,
What do you know, you big palooka?
What do
Palooka?
I know? Come on, Pluto!
Oh, ass up on Pluto. Wait, what's going on? Don't hurt Pluto. Oh! Hey, besties. Oh! Oh, good morning.
What a dream. Ah! This isn't a dream.
Thank you, Savannah. Have a good night.
Oh, where am I?
Yes, Marshall, honey.
Oh, boy.
The way Marshall literally has no idea what's
you
going
know
on,
where
I
we are?
can't.
Hey!
Is someone there? The Moogle! Moogles are from Final Fantasy and they're so cute. I love Moogles. I'm in another world. True. You're in Final Fantasy, bestie. Look at the Moogle! I love the Moogle! Look at him! You walk. I walk with the Moogle. Where's Leon? I hear Clydesdale. You better walk. Oh, excuse me. How can I... Oh. I'm not a kid, my name's Sora. Okay, simmer down. So why the long face, Sora? You lost or something? No, well, where are we? Huh? Traverse Town. So, Gramps, is this really another world? Don't call me Gramps, my name is Sid. Not sure what you're talking about, but this ain't no island. Guess I better start looking for Riku and Kairi. Good luck with whatever it is you're doing. I'll look out for you. Thanks. Oh, I want that chest. Excuse me, sir. Sorry, I'm climbing on the furnishings. Fuck. Hi, Kyoshi. Oh yes, we were gonna play Psychonauts, but it wasn't working, so... Thank you, Tank, I appreciate it. Thank you for your help. Currently closed off. The Moogle just standing there is sending me. Oh! Hi, sir. She's a big-ass head. No offense, girl. Why is her body so unproportionate? Like, her head is so big. I haven't seen that movie. You're looking at her head? Oh, Jenny, please. Sir, can someone please just tell me? I didn't want to do that. Thank you, Kyoshi. I wanted to do like a low ponytail today and like slick back hair, so I was like, what can I wear? And I like switched my outfit like 10 times. Oh, I remember this part. He becomes a Heartless, and we're like, uh-oh, poopy. Please. It's a good day. Another day. I'm gonna wash my human wigs tonight, I think. They need to be washed. I thought you intentionally matched with Donald. Shut up! Are you serious?
Come on.
No! Are you saying I look like Donald Duck? I can't. I put a beak on. Beak is such a weird word. Beak. What does that even mean? I put my beak on. That sounds so weird. My beak. I love how money is spelled in this game. It's M-U-N-N-Y. Me when I have money. Oh, I put on a beak for Jenny. My beak's incredible. Beak runway. Gentlemen, please. Hi, Kay. How are you doing? Happy to see ya. 99 puppies, Dalmatians. Puppy. So true. Walk for me. Only 2 dogs in the house when there's 90. Oh, we have to collect them. I forgot. You're supposed to collect the Dalmatians. Excuse me, Heartless. I'm going this way.
Come on. Come on.
Oh, 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 oh. Oh, I slip into my beak. I don't know either. The word beak is funny. Oh, my beak. I slip on a sensual beak. Move! The way I had 1 glass of wine and I feel drunk. Anyways. Oh, Delilah's tootin'. 9 months, we have a baby. Slamming your head off the counter, Steel. Woo! I can't do that. I will pass out. 2? Oh yeah, I filled it to the top, so that is 2 glasses of wine. Because you're not supposed to fill the entire wine glass. I don't know why people do that. I'm like, let me put the whole thing in. Put the whole thing in, baby. Why? What? Why is that? Why don't you fill the wine glass all the way? Probably because you'll end up like me, drunk as hell, but... We're at the hotel, Holiday Inn. The hotel, Holiday Inn. You had 7 Trulies and edible and you partook in a bong? How are you not dead? That's what happened to me one Pride one year and I had an edible. And I think I did ASSID. And all of that. I could have died. Diamond Dave! 19 months! How are you, honey? This room? Not good if you were high. Jenny? You do a what off my what? Oh, my beak. The way I'm just running past the Heartless. Jenny loves a beak. Ah. I'm sorry, Diamond Dave. I hope you're relaxing now. Oh, this sun hat in the window? Oh, the boat, the dress. Okay, okay. The shoe. Not a heel in sight. Why does everybody wear clown shoes? Okay. Excuse me, everyone. The way I'm not leveling up, and the game is gonna be so hard because I'm not doing any of these fights. Anyways.
They'll come at you out of nowhere.
Who are you?
What the fuck? Get out of
And
my
they'll keep
face.
on coming at you.
Oh, it's Leon.
As long as you continue to wield the Keyblade. But why? Why would it choose a kid like you?
Hey, what's that supposed to mean?
Never mind. Now, let's see that Keyblade.
What? There's no way you're getting this.
Who are you?
All right. Then have it your way.
Who be you? Who is you? Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Please don't hurt me, sir. Oh, he's gonna kill me! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh! Oh, I fall over dead.
Hey, you found it. Nice going, Leon.
Is that
Still.
Tifa? That's literally Tifa.
It looks like things are worse than we thought. A lot worse.
He's kind of hot. No, yeah, I would let him wreck me. Oh! Oh my goodness. That's not Tifa? Ikaru. There's still a little wine in this. And like sometimes out of nowhere, Jenny will literally be like, Mrs. Hitchcock, did you see the full moon tonight? We need to rewatch season 6. We've rewatched almost every season except for 6. What was that?
Gosh,
Yuffie.
there's nobody here. Sure is spooky.
More like poopy.
Hurry, I'm not scared.
What was that?
Excuse me, did the king send you?
Gag! Fuck it up, Aaron! Fuck it up, bitch!
Come on, lazy bum. Wake up. You okay?
I guess.
Those creatures that attacked you are after the Keyblade.
Oh, he's
but it's your heart they really
high.
want. Because you wield the Keyblade.
Hi, Rothy.
I'm so glad that you're okay, Kairi.
Kairi? Who are you talking about? I'm
Drag
the
on the
great
tree.
ninja Yuffie.
You what? Oh.
I think you might have overdone it, Squall.
That's
Yeah,
Leon.
you literally beat up a kid.
The
like,
Keyblade.
hello?
Yeah, we had to get it away from you to shake off those creatures. It turns out that's how they were tracking you.
It was the only way to
Do
conceal
they have a
the heart from
GPS?
you, but it won't work for long. Still, hard to believe that you, of all people, are the chosen one.
It's literally a Keyblade.
Well, I suppose beggars can't be choosers.
Why don't you start making sense? What's going on here?
Okay, you know there are many other worlds out there besides your castle in this town, right?
Earth looking gorge.
But they're supposed to be a secret.
They've been secret
Gorge.
because they've never been connected. Until now. When the Heartless came, everything changed.
When the Fire Nation
The
attacked.
Heartless?
The ones who attacked you. You remember?
No offense,
Those
everybody.
without
Can we wrap
hearts.
it up? I gotta piss. Like,
The
I gotta
darkness in
piss so
people's
bad.
hearts. That's what attracts them.
I wanna
There is
pee my
darkness
pants.
within every heart.
Hey, have you heard of someone named Ansem?
Nope. But I know him from the lore, so.
Ansem?
He was studying the Heartless. He recorded all of his findings in a very detailed way.
I love that they just have Final Fantasy characters in this game to
Wars.
develop the
Oh,
plot.
Can we see it?
Like, just randomly.
Pages are scattered everywhere.
Scattered.
Too many worlds.
Oh, then maybe the king went to find them.
Yes, those were my thoughts exactly.
We've got to find him quick.
Red.
Nope.
First we need the key.
That's right. The Keyblade.
So, this is the key.
Yeah, it's honestly really
Exactly.
surprising that Disney hasn't done
The
anything with,
Heartless
like,
have great fear
Kingdom
of the
Hearts.
Keyblade. That's why they'll keep coming after you, no matter what.
Well, I didn't ask for this.
The Keyblade chooses its master.
Me when I get my
and
bills
it
every month.
chose you.
So, tough luck.
Oh,
How did all
plot.
this happen?
Done.
I remember being in my room. Wait a minute. What happened to my home? My island? Riku! Kairi!
You know what? I really don't know.
Oh, done. Because SpongeBob isn't Disney, Maddie Bestie. Thank God, I gotta fucking pee. I'm gonna pee and I'm gonna get some nachos, if you would excuse me. My bad, they're not nachos, they're Tostitos. Forgot that everybody dragged me for calling them nachos. Oh! No, they're not nachos, from what I've gathered. Hold on. Okay. My bestie, I just swam. I want to go swimming so bad. Someone go to the beach with me right now. Please, oh! I want to go to the beach so bad. Oh!
Sora, let's go.
I want to go to the beach, I just don't like going alone. Literally, where did he go? What? In years? Why? No, I love water parks, but then I realized, like, they're really filthy. If you think about it, like, everybody's germs in a water. Did you say your Udi is gonna be there soon? Use code Nemesis at checkout for your Udi if you want one. You can get $30 off. I'm stuck in first person. Oh, I got it. It said take out the leader, but I'm like, where is the leader? I miss B. Who else misses B? Me. I do. A code word? Like what? Oh, like a safe word? Let's use the safe word beak. My beak.
Come on!
Wait, where's the big guy, Tink? Beak! Beak! I'm chowing down. You know what I just realized? You know what I just realized? This game... This game has a Nightmare Before Christmas section. I'm gonna be crying the entire time. That game, that movie scares the fuck out of me. Yeah. When I was a kid, I had a huge fear of Nightmare Before Christmas. No, it's just stop motion. Like, stop motion makes me really uncomfortable. It's not that it's bad. It's just when I was a kid, it, like, scarred me for life. Like, it just made me really scared. So, like, when I get, like, anxiety when I see it. Oh, I take a sip. I've never seen Coraline because my fear of Nightmare Before Christmas and stop motion. So, I've never seen Coraline. Don't you dare disobey me, Coraline! Ah!
Oh. Gosh, are these the Heartless guys?
Let's go get them, Goofy!
Ruh-roh. I'm not ready. Okay, I'm ready. Thank you, Gray.
Come on.
Good luck, Diamond Dave. I miss you. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm adjusting myself. Ow! You should put your computer in the microwave. That could be fun. Can you record it too? I want to see that. Oh my god, that's right. Okay.
So, you were looking for me?
They too have been seeking the wielder of the Keyblade.
Hey, why don't you come with us? We can go to other worlds on our vessel.
What is it called? It's called something funny. I forgot the name of the vessel.
Of course.
Are you sure?
Who knows? But we need them to come with us to help us find the kid.
Sora, go with them. Especially if you want to find your friends.
Yeah, I guess.
But you can't come along looking like that. Understand?
Oh.
No frowning, no sad face, okay?
Donald just dragging.
Yeah, you gotta look funny, like us. Yup. Whoa.
Yes, but ones on happy faces.
Happy?
Please?
That's one funny face.
Okay, why not? I'll go with you guys.
Name's Goofy.
And
Sam.
I'm Nemesis.
All
Nice
for
to
one,
meet you.
one for all.
Would you like a nacho?
That little squirt took down that Heartless. Who'd have thought it?
Such is the power of the king.
Do you recognize these villains,
Child's
chat?
strength is not his own.
Why don't we turn him into a Heartless? That'll settle things quick enough.
And the brats friends are the king's lackeys. Slug on the eyes, they're all bilge rats by the look of them.
You're no prize yourself.
Shut up!
Enough! The Keyblade has chosen him. Will it be he who conquers the darkness? Or will the darkness swallow him? Either way, he could be quite
Because I be the
useful.
baddie bee. Barbie Tinks banging baddie bee. Love her. Uncle Coven! Thank you for tier 2 subscription for 17 months. I love you so much. Sending all my love to you. Oh, giving me some coin for the road. The gummy ship. That's what it's called. It's called the gummy ship. And I used to call it the cummy ship. Oh, I can dodge now. No. No. You will not be doing Ginger's number in my chat or anywhere near me. Nope. Oh, some coin. The thumbs up emoji, please. I know how to do it, I know. I'm shooting. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Is that seat taken? That's my lab. I know what I said. If we accidentally go to the Nightmare Before Christmas world, I'm gonna cry. Oh, it's Alice in Wonderland. Oh, I'm falling. Oh, my name is Alice. Looking for Wonderland. Oh!
Oh, my fur and whiskers! I'm late, I'm late, I'm late! Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear! I'm here, I should be there! Oh, I'm late, I'm late, I'm late! Oh, the queen, she'll have my head for sure!
Oh! We are really big.
How did he get so small?
No, you're simply too big.
Oh, you're big.
Must you be so loud? You woke me up. Good morning. Good night.
Good morning.
I need a bit more sleep.
Wait, what do we have to do to grow small?
Why don't you try the bottle? Over there.
I drink some alcohol. Oh. Sora drinking a monster. So true. Yeah, Sora is wearing a romper. Gay riots. I feel like Sombra? I feel like Sora would be bi. Bi king. Done. Let me in.
Come on! Come on!
Mia?
Come on!
Please.
Come on!
No, you're right, and you should say it, right?
Come on!
Oh, there's something in here. Yes, I would choose Riku. Also, there's a lot of characters that come in later that I'm like, yup. My name isn't Alice, but hers is. She is in Wonderland. I thought he farted. Oops.
Court is now in session.
I'm on trial. But why?
Her Majesty, the Queen of Hearts, presiding.
Boot.
This girl is the culprit. There's no doubt about it. And the reason is because I say so, that's why.
That is so unfair.
Sounds like the
Well,
US
have you
judging
anything
system.
to say in your defense?
Of course. I've done absolutely nothing wrong. You may be queen, but I'm afraid that doesn't give you the right to be so mean.
Silence!
Blocked.
You dare defy me?
Hey guys, we should help her out.
We're outsiders, so wouldn't that be muddling? Oh, yeah. And that's against the rules.
The court finds the defendant guilty as charged for the crimes of assault and attempted theft of my heart. Off with her head!
No! Oh, please!
Hold it right there!
Who are you?
Objection!
Dare you interfere
Reading
with
the
my
witness.
Excuse me, but we know who the real culprit is.
Uh-huh. It's the Heartland.
Anyway, she's not the one you're looking for.
That's nonsense. Have you any proof?
Eva? Hey!
See ya! See ya! Fire!
So true. I'm sorry you got mixed up in this nonsense. No, it's okay, Alice Bestie. We got you. A body has been discovered. Oh, Cheshire Cat. This is steel. Who's the culprit? Tell us. What kind of attack? There are 4 pieces to the evidence. 3... The 4th is tricky. Okay. I remember this was so annoying. Yes, I can. I don't know what that means, but I will. Get away from me! You stupid Heartless. Footprints. I think that's a clue. Not stench. Do me wait, what? I will.
This should help.
Oh, I used it on the wrong thing. Fuck. Damn it. I'm busy.
See ya. Ha! See ya.
Antenna. Dang it. Can we move this? Probably not. Thank you for the follow. I don't have any ether. I have a potion, I can give that one flower.
This should help.
There's the other one.
Here.
Hey everyone. How do I become small now?
Fire!
Am I stuck? I think I'm stuck. Oh! I think I'm stuck. Well, fuck. Fuck! Oh. I'm supposed to make that jump? Fuck! Back to the middle and round again. To fly. Let me save. Kami ship. Oh. Lots of shrooms. Oh my god, what do you think it means? Okay. Donald. I'm so sorry, Donald. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Fuck! My throat is so dry. Someone come stimulate it. Get it? Come stimulate it. Ha ha! So funny. I love a random fact. Oh, I sure do. I want French fries, but I have no good French fries to make, which makes me very sad. My butt is sticking to this chair. Can you please move? So sorry. Fuck! I want seasoned French fries. I love a good seasoned fry. I haven't had them in years though. Like I haven't had a good seasoned fry in years. I love a seasoned fry. Probably my favorite fries. But now, next to my house, the Dunkin' and the deli got closed. So there's literally like no food I can get near me now, and I'm so upset. Because they're renovating. What is it called? Renovating? Curly fries, 100%. Curly fries for me, at least. I did it! Oh, Donald did it too, I guess. Back in your stereo. I love like pepper and salt and like garlic salt and parsley, and I love a bunch of shit on my fries. Yup. Can we? Hi, Sheena. I'm here. I have the evidence, ma'am. How dare you stand there? Fuck you, lady.
See ya!
Chips and chicken salt? The fuck? You take a shit on your fries? Oh, I know you do, Ava. Can I... Hello? One Piece gives you Blizzard, which also you get after beating this world boss if you didn't get that piece of evidence. Oh. Hey, Tostin. I'm still not impressed. Well, open the evidence then, Gorge. What? Huh? Okay. I like this one. Yes. I didn't open that one. I literally didn't open that. I didn't open that one. Listen, this is rigged.
Come on!
Take this, lady. Yeah, haha. Oh! Hablumas! Haha. You fuck.
See ya! Deep freeze!
Oh.
See ya!
Shut up, lady. Oh! Fuck you!
See ya! Come on! Ha! This should help.
Get off me!
See ya! Deep freeze! Deep freeze!
Hi, Michael!
Come on!
Why are you bald? I'm not bald! Do I look bald? Oh no. Literally. Can we get a shout out for player Michael? My wig's been snatched. What if I just took the wig off? Like, when it fell off, the mushroom wig. That clip is so funny. Oh, I like that the text isn't fitting into the box. They said, nope. Yes, you didn't see it, Ava? I posted the clip. Let me find it. I'll find it so fast. I'll retweet it again. Hold on. I like that I tweeted, what is an emotional game that'll make me cry and it'll be good? And everybody was like, just different memes in the comments. Like, not a real answer. My community is always like, Nem, you smell like poopy fart, haha. Which I love. Oh, well, I have the zoom in video, hold on my Twitter. Oh, I guess. Yeah, I do, Mia. I do, all the time. I just retweeted it. Yes, it is PS4. So sorry. It is PS4. It's the remaster edition or whatever it is. It's 1.5 and 2.5. Wait, so where's Alice? Her name isn't Alice, and she went to Wonderland. She's gone. She was done. Alice was done. Alice already done. Please. I'm Paul Stars. Oh, big boy. Please. My wig went with Alice. It said, we're going.
Come on. See ya. Deep freeze. See ya.
I forgot the strategy of these guys. Is it hit him in the butt? Yeah, it's him in the butt. Gotta hit him in his dumpy. Jade Jolie is on a different program, actually. I believe it. I believe it. Like, I wholeheartedly believe it. Because I think they said on a podcast, Mia, that they're having a Rue Girl on this season. I could be wrong, though, but I think they said something like that. Because, like, everybody's been, like, searching like crazy. Because their drag is actually crazy good now. Like, they do a lot of cosplay and, like, a lot of, like stuff like that. It's, like, really cool. Have you seen their drag, like, in the era that they're in now? Oh, awkward. Her, like, drag is pretty incredible. Like, I'm actually really excited to see her. Oh, I sit down at the table. Mad Hatter. Oh, I want this chair. I want this to be my streaming chair. Oh. Oops. They're hiding somewhere? You hear that when I sat down? The noise my chair made and my thighs clapping together. Thank you so much.
Come on.
One of the only reasons I'm excited to start my new job is because I'll have to start walking like a mile to work every day, and as much as I don't want to do it, it'll help me get in shape, and I'm very excited for that. Can someone please heal me?
See ya. Deep freeze. Deep freeze.
I gotta go. Hey, gentlemen, can you please heal me? Oh, that's Goofy. Fuck my life. The 10 items? So lost. This room doesn't help me. I'm confused and it looks like this. The room is upside down, so we have to go back, I think. Oh. No, I didn't want to hurt them! Stop, Donald! Stop! I'll take the long way. Hi, Dwarven! I think so, whatever it's called, the meme. Spoilers!
Fire! Come on! Fire! Fire! Fire!
Yeah, the design of this thing is actually really cool. I like it a lot. The colors are really cool. I like those colors together.
Come on!
I twerk to the music. Donald's dead. Oh, he got rid of the chair, so that's not nice.
Fire! Come on! See ya! See ya! Fire! Come on!
Goofy's dead, but Donald's back.
Deep freeze! Fire!
Oh!
Fire!
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. That was aggravating. Why can't I use any of my items?
See ya!
Donald already almost dead. Donald's already dead.
Come on!
Already done. Done. He was done.
Come on! Fire! Come on!
Die.
Come on!
Get his ass!
Come on!
Everybody's dead. I did it! Rest in peace, cool monster person.
What a racket. How's a doorknob to get any sleep?
Stop! You're making me yawn! Oh! Oh, what was that? Oh! You're looking for Alice, she's not here. She's gone off into the shadows. I bet Cheshire Cat knows, but he won't tell anybody. Like, at the cost of someone's life. It's like, no, I have a riddle for you, actually. I board the Kami ship. Marshall, no! Please! Is that, what is that emote? I want animated emotes! It's so fucked up. So fucked up. Come, bear, air. Please. No, a lot of people haven't, which is fine. This is one of my first video games. Like, if I had 10 first video games, this is one of my first.
Whoa!
Just ruining this person's house.
Oh, my head. Donald? Goofy?
Oh.
Fire! Deep freeze! Ha! Come on!
Oh. But we just murdered an animal, so... For no reason. Oh! God, Tarzan's so fucking hot. Oh my god. Is it hot in here, or is it Tarzan?
Danger.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What is this place?
This place.
Okay. Where did the others go? Look, I got separated from my friends. Have you seen them?
Hmm?
Friends.
Friends.
Right, my friends. There's
This
two of
place,
them.
this
The loud
place.
one is Donald.
Huh?
Know what? Never mind. I'm looking
Just
for
a
my
naked
friends,
man.
Riku and Kairi.
Look at his
Look
booty.
for Riku. Friends.
Right.
His booty cheeks.
Kairi. Friends.
Right.
Oh, friends. Here.
Really?
Please.
Huh?
Friends. Here.
Not sure I understand, but show me. Take me to Riku and Kairi.
Tarzan. Tarzan. Go.
And I'm Sora. Tarzan go, Sora go.
So true. And Nemesis go. You know what this means? Nemesis 45 Monkey.
Gosh, where are we? I sure hope Sora's okay.
Who needs them? They can run the game without them, huh?
Monkey.
Oh.
Oh, they're so cute. Oh, did they just poop? No. I hate this man. Oh. Tarzan kind of just jumped off. Can we do that? Oh, hey Tarzan. Hey bestie. Whee! I slide. Oh! Oh God. Okay, literally, I'm not trying to be vulgar. Tarzan is fine. Wait, I can zoom in, I forgot. Let me zoom in. I guess I can't zoom in. Okay, fuck my drag. Where's Jane? Was that her name, Jane? I think her name's Jane. So true,
Jane.
Tarzan. It is Jane. Diva.
Tarzan. Oh, and who's this?
Hi there. I'm...
Oh, you speak English. So then, obviously you're not related to Tarzan. Are you here to study the gorillas?
Highly doubtful.
Sora! Goofy! Donald!
A circus of clowns. Not much use for hunting gorillas.
Mr. Clayton, we're studying them, not hunting them. This is research. Well, the more the merrier. Do make yourselves at home.
I really can't. People that like hunt for like fun.
Anyway, I'm staying.
You are insane.
Huh?
Sora, look what we found. Look at this.
That's a piece of the gummy ship. What's that? Crazy funky junky hat. Oh, wow. Fuck you and your tea, Clayton. Into the thick of it. Into the thick of it. What was that? Oh my. Oh.
Come on.
Not really sure what the objective is here. Oh, that was Cam. That was Cam. Oh, we have to look for the slides. No worries. No worries. Enjoy editing your photos. Slide number 2. Oh, here's one. Oh, 4. Maybe there's one in here.
Come on!
Nope, but there's one right here. And there's one right here. Oh, there's another one up here. 6! Oh dear. I think that's all of them. Hopefully. Monkey.
Well, Tarzan?
Where are my friends, Riku and Kairi? Hey, I thought...
That leaves just one place. Young man, we've been in this jungle for some time now. But we have yet to encounter these friends of yours. I'd wager they're with the gorillas, but Tarzan refuses to take us to them.
Really, Mr. Clayton? Tarzan wouldn't hide...
Then take us there. Take us to the gorillas. Gorillas.
No, he doesn't want to. He wants to kill all the gorillas. Sick.
Tarzan, are you sure?
Tarzan, go see Kerchak.
Kerchak?
He must be the leader. Perfect. I'll go along as an escort.
Oh, fuck you, man.
After all, the jungle is a dangerous place.
I hate men. I literally do. Is it this way? No. This way? Nope. Oh my god, Kingdom Hearts Dead by Daylight chapter? So true. Hippo! A dip in the pool. A trip to the spa. Oh, we found some puppies. I love them.
Kerchak, please listen to me. I know the nesting grounds are secret, but I trust them. You see, I want to help them because, well, they need us.
Oh, did you get that?
No!
Kerchak! Kerchak.
Blocked. Well, I think it's because they can't understand him, but we can, because he's talking in a different language. So they're... Like, they can't understand him, but the gorillas can. I think that's how it was in the movie, too. But I haven't seen the movie in, what, over 20 years? Oh no, I forgot how annoying this level is, because if you fall, you have to redo and go through all of this again. Oh my god, I almost fell. And I fell. That's alright, Sora. No worries. Oh, 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 oh. Jump. Jump. Sora! Oh, there's a lot of chests up here. I'll take that. God damn it. Can we just be Tarzan and, like, go somewhere else? Because I feel like Tarzan could get through this easily. Oh. Found more puppies. Can I even get on that? I don't think I can. How do I get over there? I'm struggling! Is there another route? There's so much green. Okay, I can't go through that. I like that my AC has been on for like, what, 3 hours now, and it's not even cool in my room? Like, Jesus. Oh. Oh, I love some green. Oh, you know me? Treehouse? Oh, fun. Oh, we're already here. Oh, baby monkey! I will literally end your sorry little life.
What's the big idea?
It's 4 a.m. here, so I'm gonna sleep. Good night. The mohawk.
You don't understand. I was only trying to.
Trying to what?
A
Do
snake
what?
slithered by. You see, I saved that poor gorilla's life.
I hate men, I hate men, I hate men, I hate men, I hate men. Where? I needed to go up, so we go down here. No, I know what I said. I know what I said. Is that seat taken? That's my lab. I know what I said. I love that TikTok audio so much. What? Why is there a hole in the ground? Oh, Tarzan's blocked. I'm not sure where to go. Maybe through this hole? Oh, there's something down here. I know what I said. Should I climb on this? I'm gonna do it anyway. Oh, goodbye. Into the thick of it! Into the thick of it! Ugh. Hey, girl boss.
How could you do such a thing?
Now,
True.
Miss Porter, as I told you, I was not aiming at the gorilla.
You are not to go near the gorillas again.
Oh, because of one mishap. Come now.
God, he makes me... I would literally punch him so hard in the face. He needs it with that nose.
What am I doing with these imbeciles? Blasted gorillas! I'll hunt down every last one of them. I'll track them down somehow. I'll stake my life on it.
Why are his thighs? His thighs look like mine, honestly. That's how I'm built. Well, minus the tiny waist. What was that? Like, can we put the gun down? I feel like there's a better option we could do. Maybe like a taser, a pepper spray, maybe.
Heartless!
Monkey Heartless! Oh, how cute! I love them! They're so cute! Oh! I will protect the monkeys with my life. I love them. Well, not these ones, but I mean, I do love them, but I can't because they're gonna kill us.
Come on!
Thank you, Jane. I just remember this section of the game. I don't know why. I just remember it a lot. I remember the boss. I remember everything. I remember it just being so aggravating. I don't think I've ever beaten this game, actually. I always make it to Ursula and then I quit. Well, no, that's a lie. I think I made it further than Ursula. Who comes first, Jafar or Ursula? Ursula's boss fight, I remember, is, like, iconically bad. Like, because it's so hard. Because there's, like, phases. I think Jafar is first, too. Because I remember that fight. But I don't remember Ursula's. I remember Ursula's, but not completing it, if that makes sense. Because I think every time I play this game, I quit at Ursula. But we're gonna do it! I mean, it's gonna take a couple streams, but... Guardi Galaxia, thank you so much for the follow. I just went to the other area by accident. Oh wait, no I didn't. I love you! I love them. Yeah, it's a really hard fight. I remember it being, like, iconically bad. Who are these Heartless? I love these Heartless. They're so cute. Look at it! Oh, is it trying to get a piece of Tarzan? Not the flag. Get out of my face. Where did he go? Weirdo just disappearing. Tink, do you know where I have to go? I'm kind of lost right now. Beak! Ugh! Shrubbery past the bamboo? Wait, what? Okay. Hi, Cass. Okay, gotcha. Cass, I want to let you know that everybody's been quiet, and when you walked in, everybody starts talking. Everybody said, "Give it up for Cass!" Woo! I played this for the first time. Also, thank you for the welcome. No worries! Welcome in! Happy to have you. Oh my god, I almost fell off. I almost fell off again. Did I hear my name? No, but hi.
Come on.
Hi, bestie. Donald just keeps dying. We need to get new items. Baby! Okay, let's go to the treehouse. I wanted to... Do people actually have tree houses? Like, that... Oh, I did say Cass, but Brad Stahl, I meant. But also, like, there's so many people in the name that starts with C-A-S or Cass. So it's like, hey everyone. We have a lot of, like, duplicate names in our chat, like, in our community. There's lots of Mias, lots of Cass, lots of, House, actually. There's 2 houses, which is surprising. Lots of houses. So true. Mia just being nasty to me for no reason. Got it, got it. No, you're not. There's actually 3. There was another Mia that came in here the other day. You were AFK. I remember there was someone that came in and their name was Mia. I don't know. noted. Geronimo! Geronimo, Geronimo. Poopy, poopy, poopy fart. Thinking about how, when we did the Fallout Guys hosting, Trashly and Aphasia talked about their shit poopy stories, and the one time that I had opportunity to tell a poopy story, I couldn't. We all could have talked about poopy, but I ruined it. I ruined the poop train. I like the slide. Trashly's hysterical. Like, I love Trashly. Oh, thank God the captions are still on, because I was worried that the captions were going to get removed because I had to uninstall my OBS and reinstall it. But I have captions enabled for more accessibility, even though they're definitely not even close to what I'm saying. But I think they're still a work in progress.
Fire! Fire! See ya! Fire! Deep freeze!
Deep freeze!
Here! Come on!
Take that! Oh, they fell. And they fell hard, bitch. Monkey, monkey, monkey! What? Me. Me and who? Me and who? Please. Excuse me, everyone.
See ya! Come on!
They spanked their dumpy. Oh! Look at the female monkeys! Oh my God, I'm obsessed. Oh, they robbed me. They're robbing us! Get rid of them! I'm obsessed with that design. They're so cute. Literally me. No, me and Cass. Me and who? Me and Cass. Where's Jane? Oh no, she's missing. Oh, she's in the treehouse. Gotta go all the way back upstairs. Jesus Christ. I was so drunk earlier, not to be like weird, but I definitely was feeling very, very tipsy. Literally kitten. We're just going up to the treehouse, then back down. And then we jump on these hippos again and again. It's giving Gloria from Madagascar. I want to watch Madagascar again. I want to watch them. King Julian! King Julian! Okay, but is it not? Wine is literally diet alcohol. Now hold on now, I made some points. La 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 la. I like to move it, move it. Tag yourself, Madagascar edition. Who am I? Probably more, if anyone. Oh. Jenny is King Julian. I feel like Jewel is... I feel like Serena... I feel like Serena is Gloria and Jewel is the zebra. Oh, then there's the penguins. True. There's a lot of characters in Madagascar. Okay, I'm gonna say it. Do you remember that era of movies like Madagascar, Shark Tales, Over the Hedge? All of those animated movies are so superior over what is nowadays animated movies. Like, I think it's DreamWorks, I think, made those movies. Those movies slapped. Like, so good. DreamWorks was the moment. Shark Tales was the moment. Hi, Nintendo Mav, how are you doing? I didn't pay attention to the dialogue, I'm so stupid. We have to do something. I think we have to do something here. I don't know what that is, so no, I have not. What did she say? What'd she say? Oh, we must help the gorilla. So do I fight the boss? Okay. So we go up and down, we go up and down the stairs. She's very versatile. That's a Tammy Brown quote. Up and down the stairs, and she's very versatile. If you lay a hand, don't you fucking dare.
No!
That's what I thought, Clayton, bitch. Himbo, how's Himbo Tarzan doing? It's lovely. Clayton. I'm having a lovely time. Not Clayton!
Not Clayton!
Not Clayton! I remember this, because this is the cutscene that happens over and over again if you die. So I remember doing this, and it would always go, not Clayton! Not Clayton! Haha, die, stupid man. So true. Back to the middle and round again. I am the sexy fish from Shark Tales. That's me personified. I am her. Largo, please! The crab rave. I love it. Watch this. I didn't mean that. I meant the reveal with the iguana. Oh! I love this design of this iguana. Very cool. Oh. Please!
Fire! See ya!
I'm gonna die.
Come on!
Let's go!
I need heals. I'm gonna die. Ah! I'm gonna die. We're 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 gonna die. Please! Oh my god. Tarzan, you're so sexy. I love you and your fat dumpy. Oh my god, no. Oh my god, it's dead. Now we kill Clayton. Get this ugly man, idiot men. Idiot men. Idiot man. Stupid man thing. That was close. That was close. Cummy, chameleon. So true, me. So true. K-Word the colonizer. So true, fuck this man. I hate him. What did I choose? I chose sword and then I gave up the shield. But I'm also on beginner difficulty, so it shouldn't be that much of a problem. I say that and then we get to the Ursula fight and it's gonna be hell. I love them. Look at them. How could you look at them and not be like, ew? Like, I love them. They're so cute. I want to be their friend.
Huh?
Oh! That would break your ribs. You would literally die from the fall. He just yeeted me. What if... Let me posit this hypothetical. What if we didn't evolve as humans, so we all were still walking, like, on fours? What if we're all walking around like that? How would you feel? Would we have to wear shoes on our hands? Shoes wouldn't exist? I think they would. I would invent them. I would invent shoes that... I would invent high heel hand shoes. So you'd wear a nice Louboutin on your hand. And your feet. At all times. So you're wearing 4 Louboutins at once. Now that's a moment. Oh, hey, Diva. Girl boss.
This is your home? But that means... Huh?
Oh.
The waterfalls. They're echoing all the way here.
Friends there. Sea friends.
Oh, now I've got it. Means heart. Friends in our hearts.
Heart.
Oh, so that's
No
what it
heart.
means.
Wait, so could you go no
Friends.
he hoo ha hoo
Same
ha?
heart.
Because that means no heart.
Clayton. Lose heart. No heart. No see friends. No heart. No friends.
So true,
Sorry
Tarzan.
about what I said.
I'm sorry too.
Oh.
Yeah, all for one, huh?
The butterfly effect. It's giving Until Dawn. What even are those? They look so silly.
But it's sure
Oh, a
not
gummy.
the king's.
A fruit gummy. I want fruit gummy.
I think someone has a new admirer.
No, 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 no. Daisy would kill me.
Oh, the monkey liked Donald. What was that? What is going on? Dear God, if you're here, God.
What drew the Heartless to that world?
The hunter lured them there. It was his lust for power that was the bait. But it seems the bait was too tasty for his own good.
Yeah, he got chopped instead.
No, I can't look at Oogie Boogie. He makes me sick.
Stood no chance against the Heartless. But the boy is a problem. He found one of the keyholes.
Fear not, it will take him ages to find the rest. Besides, he remains blissfully unaware of our other plan.
Yes, the princesses.
They are falling into our hands, one by one. Speaking of which...
They have Alice. Oh. Bye, Tarzan. Snow White shows up. Huh? Gentlemen, please. So what's here? Oh, we have to go here? Wait. Oh, I guess we have to go here. Yeah, I think that is pretty cool. I don't disagree. Sorry, I'm immersed. Best world. I don't know what it is, don't spoil. I like a surprise. Even though I played this game before, but... I want to pretend like I haven't played this game before. Look at all these onion rings. Oh, I want some onion rings. You know what the best onion rings are? Red Robin's onion rings are the best. Yup. Thank you so much. Welcome in. Happy to see you. My skin has been really breaking out lately. Like, I need to buy, like, skincare or something because I'm streaming so much and doing drag so much. My skin just can't keep up. And also the heat, I usually break out a lot more in the summer. I'm so stressed I decided to make a hair. Oh my god. All in one day. Oh, is this Hercules? This is Hercules. Hi, Alpha. Orgasmic, so true. Me either, Dwarven. I think Hercules' world is the only one that makes another appearance in the series, right? Like, they come back to it in 3. It's the only one that they do twice.
Good timing.
Danny
Here,
DeVito.
will ya? Move that pedestal over there for me.
I don't think it's Danny
spruce this
DeVito,
place
but
up for the game.
that's who plays him in the movie. Right? Am I missing something? What am I supposed to do?
It's way too heavy.
Yeah, I can't do it.
What? Too heavy?
Oh,
Since
so
when have you
heavy.
been such a little... Oh, wrong guy. What are you doing here?
You're not Danny DeVito, sir.
This here's the world-famous Coliseum, heroes only. And I got my hands full preparing for the games, so run along, pipsqueaks.
Okay, but you're not Danny DeVito, so
Look,
you're
it's like this.
You're not. Don't even talk.
Heroes are coming from all over to fight ferocious monsters right here in the Coliseum.
Stupid man thing. I feel like I'm one of the only people in the world that hasn't done a Lady D cosplay, but I just don't radiate that energy. I feel like I would flop it so hard.
And we're heroes too.
Hero? That grunt?
What's so funny? I fought a bunch of monsters.
Hey, if you can't even move this,
That's nice.
you can't call yourself a hero. Yeah. Okay, so it takes more than brawn. Well, let's see what you can.
Is my air conditioner even on? It does not even feel like it's on. It's like 100 degrees here today, not even being dramatic. Welcome in, happy to have you. We're just starting. We're doing like the first 3 worlds, I think, today. I'm doing beginner because I'm really bad at video games. Please don't shame me. I'm just really bad.
You ain't
and it's already been pretty hard, so I'm like...
Looks like I'm headed for the games.
Afraid not.
Why not?
2 words. You
Back
guys
on.
ain't heroes.
Come on.
That's 4. Oh, easy down. You think I'm gonna do advanced? What the fuck do I look like? Oh wait, I did this already. Wait, no, I'm done. It is really good. I loved 3. I played the entirety of 3, especially because there was a Toy Story section, and if you know me... Excuse me, Hades, I'm speaking. Toy Story is my favorite Pixar thing ever. When I went to Disney, I only stayed in, like, Toy Story Land the entire day. It was my favorite. Like, I'm a big Toy Story fan. My backpack is Woody from Toy Story. I'm just... It was, like, my childhood. It's, like, my favorite thing ever.
Goat, wouldn't you say?
Who are you?
Ugly.
Oh, hey, hold on
Sorry.
there, Fuzzboy. Hold on. Wait, let me guess. You want to enter the games, right? Well then, hey, get a load of this.
Hades comes back in 3, too. He has a big role in the 3rd game.
It's all yours. Good luck, kid. I'm pulling for you, little shorty.
Jenny, the character in here that's voiced by Danny DeVito isn't voiced by Danny DeVito in this. I know you're upset. I know you're plucked.
Come on.
Mia's done. Oh, you're done. Is this Cloud? This is Cloud, I remember. Take me to the keep! Is that seat taken? That's my lap. I know what I said. But oh my.
Oh yeah. Deep freeze. See ya. Deep freeze.
Please.
Come on! See ya!
Donald, done! Where is Hercules? Oh my god.
Thunder!
Feel the thunder, thunder.
Come on! Here!
Quick settings? No.
Not bad, huh?
Okay.
Here!
Oh my god, oh my god. Oh, Donald Dumpy!
Oh yeah!
Who is that?
That little punk is your next opponent, okay? Now, don't blow it. Just take him out.
The great god of the underworld is afraid of a kid?
Is Nancy taken?
Sorry, but my contract says...
I know! You think I don't know? I wrote the contract! I know it says you're only required to kill Hercules in this tournament. But you gotta fight that kid to get to him. Come on.
Was murdering a kid. Okay.
Hey, it's like that old goat says. Rule number 11.
Yes, there
It's
was.
all
There
just
was
a
something
game.
at the bottom.
Let loose and
Trust
have
me,
fun with
I
it.
saw it.
I mean, a casualty or two along the way. It's no big deal, right?
What if I drink this?
Jeez. Stiffer than the stiffs back home. Still, suckers like him are hard to come by.
Loud, please.
Here!
Hello? Hello? How do you even do a Donald Duck impression? I remember I can do it in like a tub if I have like water. You like put your mouth together and you go. But I can't do it like out of water. Oh my. Hey, Cloud Bestie. Oh!
That's the best you can do?
No. Hey, Cloud Bestie. Okay, that's Service.
I forgot. Accident happened.
Okay.
Hey, Phil!
Hercules. Hey, Hercules. Wait, I thought you could teach Goofy Cure. Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Kid, I got 2 words of advice for you. Attack!
Wait, so why did Hercules stop fighting the demon dog, like the guard of the underworld, to leave it to a kid and Donald and Goofy from Disney World? Okay. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my god. Oh my god. Taking care of Cloud, if you know what I mean. I'd watch it. Ooh, Inferno Band. Probably something with fire, and I don't really care about elements, but go off, I guess.
Thus, I do hereby dub the Junior Heroes and confer upon the full rights and privileges to participate in the games. Further...
What do you mean, Junior Heroes?
Thank you for the follow,
You
Erica.
rookies still don't understand what it takes to be a true hero.
So, what does it take?
Well, that's just something you'll have to find out for yourselves. Just the way that I did.
No problem. We'll start by proving ourselves in the games.
There ain't gonna be any games for a while. Gotta clean up the mess from that last battle first.
Okay, we'll be back.
Please. The demon dog with 3 heads.
I still can't believe that Squirt actually beat Cerberus.
Just between us, I'd already worn Cerberus down by the time the little guy jumped in.
Sure.
My lips are sealed.
So where did Cloud go? Just Cloud's laying dead somewhere. It's like laying in a coffin. Oh, there he is. Hey, hottie.
Hey, are you alright?
Yeah.
So, why did you go along with him anyway?
The nail?
I'm looking for someone. Hades promised to help. I tried to exploit the power of darkness, but it backfired.
Cloud in a nail glove.
I fell into darkness, and I couldn't find the light.
The light is coming.
You'll find it. I'm searching too.
So true, bestie.
For your light? Don't lose sight of it.
How about a rematch sometime? Fair and square, no dark powers involved.
I think I'll pass.
The way he just stood there and smiled. I smile.
He's strong. He's kind. He's always there for you. And he's handsome to boot. He's perfect. Perfect.
Perfectly infuriated. He makes me crazy.
Wait a minute. What are you worried about? All the pieces are in place. Relax. Whoa. Here's what you do. Let Hercules train the kid. In the next games, I'll take care of them both. Come. Who invited you to the party? Stay out of this. This is my show.
As you wish. Fight to your heart's content.
Okay. Ow, this like tag in this dress hurts. I wish you could skip these. I hate these sections. They're kind of fun, but not really. The way I just disassociated for a second. Because this is what? Oh my god, I feel the sweat. Ugh. Hey everyone. I'm back. Hey Yuffie bestie. The Moogle. Alright. I think that's where I'm gonna cut it, y'all. So we're gonna raid. Oh, I think they have a special character in their name, so I have to fix that. Perfect. We're gonna raid Marisol, send all my love and support